Welcome back. The show is called Brand Equity, and I'm Sonali Krishnan. Now, we've heard so much about big data and its role in creativity that another word on it, and one is bound to feel extremely exasperated with all the technical jargon being thrown around these days in the creative business. But Adobe's Senior VP and GM Digital Marketing, Brad Rencher, who specializes in big data, brings to the fore an extremely different perspective. He says advertising and marketing is no more just for the creative or for the tech whiz kid. It's for geeky creatives. Listen in to this extremely insightful conversation. Thank you so much for joining us, Brad. Truly a pleasure to have you on Brand Equity.
Happy to be here.
So, first things first, I know Adobe is, the whole data giant, so to speak, and they really help marketers get some insight into their entire, marketing programs in terms of just sheer data mining. I want to talk to you about the Publicis-Adobe partnership that was recently inked. And, the press release said that this is really, this partnership will allow for end-to-end marketing management platform. Please dumb it down for me and my audience and what exactly you mean by that, and how will Publicis and all its agencies really gain from this partnership?
Publicis, as a leading agency, I mean, they are a creative company from all the way from their creative agencies to their digital agencies to their media agencies, and they have a lot of insights for what consumers and their clients are looking for. What they wanted to build was an end-to-end platform, a technology to help them understand and align their data infrastructure so that they can understand a consumer who may have viewed one of their client commercials, what they did when they came to the web property, how they reacted when they saw a certain type of advertisements. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about television advertising anymore. And what they saw in Adobe, really the genesis of the partnership was they took our technology and they made that part of their engine to where we are basically, we're that underlying infrastructure that helps them bring that data together to help them get to insights so that they can be more effective in driving that with their clients.
You partner with, a holding company like Publicis. And let's assume they're tracking their own creative stuff, right? Which they're putting out, different agencies putting out. And they'll have to give this metrics at some point in time to their clients, right? But if, let's say, you figure out that, you have a particular video, for instance, and everybody comes and, clicks and 10 seconds later is tuning out, how objective do you think Publicis will be in actually giving this feedback back to their client, considering they're the ones who made it in the first place? You get my question.
Yeah, we partner not only with Publicis, but with the clients as well, to where Publicis can take our technology and actually, and many times they implement that on the client site directly on our behalf, to where clients can log in and see exactly what's happening across their campaigns. And so you can really drive that transparency. That's an important part of why digital is really driving such a huge impact in marketing and advertising.
Right. I want to come to the APAC Digital Marketing Dashboard 2014 report. What's interesting is, when I looked at the APAC Digital Marketing performance, where you've got subsets in terms of mindset, marketing readiness, organization alignment, marketing skills, you obviously mentioned there that APAC is behind, let's say, more sophisticated advanced countries such as the West, US, being a case in point. My point is, what I found interesting in this rating was really the subset where you have marketing skills, and it scored 1.6 out of 10, which is rather low. I mean, India did slightly better than the average, which was 2.3, but even then, that's also really low. What do you mean by their marketing skills scoring so low? I mean, what are they not doing, and why the scoring so low?
I would say skills around big data, understanding data schemas, data governance. These are topics that used to be the purview of IT.
Right.
And now they've been dragged into marketing, into where, do marketers have the skills to go and understand that? Not as much as they should. Campaign management, cross-channel campaign management is another skill to say, hey, it's not just about the offline world. How do I bleed offline to online?
Right.
That's a skill that I think we don't see enough of. Same thing as you step into the advertising world. the advertising spend is still siloed. You still have search campaigns, you still have display campaigns, you still have email campaigns that are run by individuals that actually don't talk to one another. So when a CEO or a CMO sits around the table and says, okay, who is responsible for driving our revenue? Guess what? The search marketer says, I was 30%. The display marketer, I was 25%. And you add up all the percents and your business should be twice as big as it is, because the teams aren't working together. So there's no way to attribute. And attribution is another big topic in marketing and advertising, that there's not enough skills to where people understand that. But you need to be able to attribute all these activities across to bring it into the common good or the common whole.
So are you then suggesting that, marketing as it is today and the way it will evolve to be effective in this rather complicated and complex landscape is that the geek also needs to be creative?
So I do think the geeks have to be creative. I think the creatives need to be more geeky. And certainly I think that's where we see those two worlds coming together.
Would you call yourself a geek, or would you call yourself, are you native creative or native geek?
That I said nerd is the new black.
Sure.
And so I proudly call myself a nerd. I'm a geek. I love numbers. I look at numbers and data, and they sing to me.
Right.
You go to the Kellogg School of Management if you want to be a marketer. And I was there, and I was a geek. I was in statistics courses and decision sciences. How do you use math to make better decisions? And I went to my colleagues in my class who were going to be marketers. I said, you should come and take some of these courses with me. And one of my marketing classmates said, Brad, I'm going into marketing because there aren't numbers involved. And for me, that really crystallized it for me because that person's world has completely changed. Marketing is all about data now.
Right. How do you think marketers today, the CMOs who are currently on, how are they dealing with this, considering that, all this is so new to them? It's all Greek. They're not born in the internet era, so it's not their natural leaning. They're so very comfortable with traditional. They're trying to do digital stuff, but it's not natural. And given that, and given the pace of change that we're actually seeing, do you think in time we'll probably see a whole new spate of CEOs who are much younger and much more with it and within this generation?
Yes, I think I often say that I think the next generation of CEOs are today's digitally focused CMOs, because the ones who are digitally focused and understand that, they're in the best position to actually run companies because they understand what levers you can pull to drive growth.
What is your critique of the Indian marketers you've met? And I'd really appreciate a candid response.
So my critique is the early movers have an opportunity of a lifetime. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I think the Indian market is super interesting. So I just came from a meeting where we were talking about the opportunity to move to mobile and completely skip the desktop era.
Absolutely.
That's something that US companies in Western Europe can't do because they have all this infrastructure they built for the desktop web that now they got to modernize to mobile.
Absolutely.
Here in India, marketers have the opportunity to go completely past that straight to the mobile generation, which is where everyone wants to be.
Brilliant point. Hopefully my audience and Indian marketers have taken heed to what you've said. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.